May 21st, 2024, Ormond Beach regular City Commission meeting to order. We're in Commission's chambers and it's exactly 7 p.m. I hope you felt welcomed as you came in tonight. Our city engineer, Alex Schumann, and then our airport manager, Stephen Licklider, served as the greeters this evening. And I want to introduce the folks who are sitting up in front of you. To my right, your left, is Recording Secretary Taylor Lockhart. Then we have City Clerk Susan Dodderis, our Zone 1 Commissioner Lori Tolland.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome, especially friends of Tony Slick.
Our Zone 2 Commissioner Travis Sargent.
Good evening, everyone.
To my left and your right normally would be Commissioner Persis, but she's in Washington, D.C., serving with the Florida League of Cities Federal Action Strike Team over the next couple days, so she won't be here tonight, but we do have Deputy Mayor and Zone 4 Commissioner Harold Briley.
Good evening and welcome, everyone.
Then City Manager Joyce Shanahan, Assistant City Manager Claire Whitley, City Attorney Randy Hayes, and way to my left and way to your right are the chiefs, Chief Jesse Godfrey, Ormond Beach Police Department, and Chief Howard Bailey, Ormond Beach Fire Department. For those of you listening online, I'm Mayor Bill Partington, and at this time, if you would please silence your cell phones, rise for the invocation given tonight by Pastor Neil Ganzel from Coquina Presbyterian Church, and that'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I always encourage people who know nothing about the Christian religion that they could just do no better than turn to Matthew and read chapter 5, 6, and 7, where Jesus stands up on a mountain and in his own day just kind of laid it out for everybody to figure out what it was he had on his mind. And I just, that's, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to say, if I leave with something people could think about, is go home and look at Jesus' teachings on the Sermon on the Mount, and we'd all be better off. I'm better off when I remember them. Let me pray. Father, thank you that you have not simply been silent. You didn't create the universe and then leave it silent for us to run around bumping into trees and truth as we might find it, but that you did reveal yourself to us in the written words of Scripture, and then preeminently in the beautiful life and the teachings of the Lord Jesus Christ. And I pray that there might be a wisdom associated with him in this meeting. We thank you for this commission. I've been around several of them in Florida, and this is a hard-working commission with people who love their citizens, and all of us love to live here. And so we pray tonight that as some are specifically recognized, well recognized, we're so grateful for it, that you would bless us with your peace, that you would bless us with great hope for the future. And Father, we are thankful for where we dwell and for this form of government that we enjoy watching here tonight. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this is one of the most fun times of the evening. We call it presentations and proclamations. And tonight we start with Tony Slick. Tony, you could come up. That'd be great, just right here. And Tony, I'm going to present that proclamation to you. I'll have you hold it, if you can, and I'll read it. And if you need somebody to hold it for you, Pastor Ganzel would be happy to. Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right. And Pastor, if you'll just face that towards the audience. I know you're not a professional proclamation holder. Perfect. That is perfect. Whereas Antoinette M. Slick, affectionately known as Tony, is a beloved local artist whose love for art began at a young age, nurtured by her mother's guidance and encouragement. Tony's passion for creativity has led her to a lifelong journey of artistic excellence, all while balancing the roles of wife and mother. And whereas Tony's academic journey led her to graduate with honors from Kent State University in Ohio in 1965, where she initially pursued her desire to teach, laying the foundation for her future endeavors in both education and the arts. And whereas a move to Florida marked a transformative moment in Tony's artistic journey, liberating her from prior expectations and inspiring her to explore new mediums and styles, transitioning from watercolors to acrylics and delving deeper into abstraction and non-objectivity. And whereas Tony's artistic achievements include numerous accolades, exhibitions, and awards, including a solo exhibition at the Ormond Memorial Art Museum, the Ormond Memorial Art Museum retrospective exhibit showcases her talent and creativity as a non-objective painter, captivating audiences with innovative and thought-provoking works. And whereas the City of Ormond Beach recognizes the invaluable contributions of its local artists in enriching the cultural fabric of the community and acknowledges Tony's significant impact on the arts scene. Now, therefore, I, Bill Partington, on behalf of the entire Commission of Ormond Beach, Florida, do hereby declare May 21st, 2024 as a day to recognize and celebrate Tony Slick in the City of Ormond Beach and urge all residents to honor her outstanding contributions to the arts and her passion for creativity. Congratulations, Tony. Where'd the clock go? Awesome. Tony, I don't want to keep you up here too long, but I love your art, and art is subjective, so everybody has different opinions, but I can tell you a lot of people love your art, and if you haven't seen it, you need to go over to the Ormond Memorial Art Museum and check it out. She really is so talented. It's down now. Where can we see it? All right, we're all going to Tony's house, and we'll check it out. We'll check it out there, or Ocean Gallery as well. There we go.
Yes, thank you so much. I couldn't be more honored. When David and I moved here 38 years ago, we thought, well, it's beautiful, but, it'll just become, so what? It never has. We still love Ormond. We love the people of Ormond, and we love the opportunities here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this next one is a fun one as well. I don't know if you know, we have a group of people that work through the chamber, cooperate with the commission, and we do what's called Teacher of the Quarter recognitions. And we drive to somewhere between 7 and 9 schools once a quarter, usually on a Friday morning, but we call it the Prize Patrol. and we go in and we recognize the teacher. We have a little trophy award. We have flowers. We have a certificate, and then a key to the city pin. And we take a picture with them. We post those on social media for everybody to see. And it's a way in Ormond Beach to honor and recognize the hard work that our teachers do every single day. It's a thankless job, and we really love the hard work they do. We can't thank the Chamber enough for their help in making this project happen. What happened this last quarter, we missed somebody, and that doesn't usually happen, but the way everybody's schedules are, calendars are, you can't always catch every single person. So this particular teacher, we didn't want to miss. We asked her to come here tonight so we can recognize her, and I'll ask Christy McLaughlin, third grade teacher at Ormond Beach Elementary, to come forward with her Principal Hay. Anybody else you want to bring up, you're welcome to, but I'm going to have Billy Jo Kaler from the Chamber. She's in charge of this committee. And then Eva Connors, who is the Chamber President this year. And we're gonna do the presentation kind of like we would in your classroom. And Billy Jo always starts us off. So Billy, you're up.
Well, I just want to say thank you and congratulations. What you do for the kids within this community is just amazing. You're out there and you're helping all of our future leaders become future leaders here within our community. And you definitely do it because of the love you have for the students and the kids, and it's really exciting to watch them grow up and become great leaders here in the community. So please always remember what you do is making an impact on everybody's lives here because of the difference you make in your students.
Thank you.
So that's basically the presentation. You've already gotten the key to the city and the trophy. Good, they got that to you. I knew Principal Hay wouldn't let us down. And so now, once in a while, we have a special recognition, and you're going to get that tonight. Along with the beautiful flowers, we have some community angels who have come together and wanted to recognize you, all the hard work that you do. One of those is Alexander's. It's a Bill Jones new restaurant in town. They have a gift certificate for you so that you can enjoy a dinner there with your family. Or, I mean, I don't know, you might want to take friends. You could take your family. It's up to you, whoever you want to take. And then another community angel are Nancy and Lowell Lohman. And they contributed a certificate for a limo ride for you and your guests to go to dinner. So it'll be a special occasion, and we hope you enjoy that. Nancy, thank you and Lowell so much, and congratulations. And if you would now, bring everybody up so we can get a picture all together. That would be fantastic.
I was not there the day you came because somebody had to get married. I heard about that. Yes.
Ladies report.
Yeah. I'm there birthday. Right in the center.
Sure. Just to tie it up for you, Christy's husband, Anthony, is a teacher as well at Seabreeze High School. And then their daughter works for the city of Ormond Beach, Ashley. And congratulations, you guys. All right, and where is Sean? Is he with us? Or Kevin, you going to take it? Good deal. Good for you.
Good job.
It is National Public Works Week. Public Works Week. Can I speak correctly? If you'll stand right in the center here, sir. Public Works is cool. They work hard. They do a lot of things for our city that people don't realize. Every once in a while, I get some of their mail. For some reason, it comes to me here at the city, and I love looking at these things. This is fleet sales. You can get a 2019 Western Star 4700 SB Pac Mac rear loader for $159,000, if you're interested. So Kevin, I don't know, you might need some of that stuff. I'll give that to you to take as well. Another cool one, and you can turn to any page in this thick catalog. It's the Core and Main Supply Plant Essentials. There's all kinds of cool stuff in this. If you need a stainless steel T-bolt clamp, there's all kinds of sizes. I have no idea what the prices are, but I'm sure they'll let you know. Also, maybe you need an MSA Workman Confined Space Entry Kit. That might be something you could use. Kevin, I'll give you that as well. That'll be in the CIP. All right. Now let's get back to business. Public Works is the thread that connects us all, no matter where we live in the world. Every public works professional strives to improve the quality of life for the community they serve, leading to healthier, happier communities. And whereas these dedicated public works professionals include engineers, managers, and employees who keep our city strong by providing an infrastructure of services in transportation, water, wastewater, and stormwater treatment, maintenance and care of city buildings, spaces, parks and grounds, right-of-way management, and emergency management and first response. And whereas the American Public Works Association has celebrated the National Public Works Week annually since 1960, this year's theme is Advancing Quality of Life for All. And whereas this theme highlights the way the city's public works team contributes to and enhances the quality of life in all the communities they proudly serve, whether as a first responder or carrying out daily duties with great pride. And whereas the Ormond Beach Public Works team makes our city a great place to live and work, ensuring essential services, exceptional quality of life, and a vital connection to others, both local and far. Now therefore, I, Bill Partington, along with the entire Commission of Ormond Beach, do hereby proclaim May 19th through 25th, 2024 as National Public Works Week in the city of Ormond Beach, and urge all our citizens to join in celebrating our dedicated public works team members and thanking them for the great work they do.
Celebrated Rockefellers.
All right, and now I'll ask Miss Erin Russell from the Florida League of Cities to come forward. And I'll turn over the mic.
Thank you, Mayor. And good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Commission, staff, and citizens. As stated, my name is Erin Russell. I am the Membership Program Specialist from the Florida League of Cities, which is located in Tallahassee, Florida. And just for the benefit of the audience members who may have never heard of the Florida League of Cities, for more than 100 years, the League has served as the united voice for Florida's 411 cities, towns, and villages. And since the beginning, the League has had a mission to protect local decision-making, which allows your elected officials to have a voice in their community. And so I want to take a moment to say thank you to the city for being a, am I going in and out? Sorry. I want to take a moment to say thank you to the city for being a dedicated and active member of the Florida League of Cities. And a special thank you to Mayor Partington, who serves on the League's Board of Directors. And if I may take a moment to say thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. I can tell what a special city you have just based off the warm welcome I received walking through the doors and the special presentations that are here tonight. But it's my honor to recognize Mayor Bill Partington for his 20 years of service to the city of Ormond Beach. And I'm here to present him with the John Land Years of Service Award, which is named after Apopka Mayor John Land, who served his city for 60 years. And so this award recognizes elected officials like Mayor Partington for their extensive years of service to their community. And before I read the resolution, there is a line that I want to emphasize, and that's local government is the government closest to the people. And so that means through your role as an elected official, you have positively impacted countless numbers of lives in this community. So I want to say thank you for your service. But if I may read the resolution, it says, whereas America's municipal governments have long relied upon the unselfish leadership of their citizens for local self-government, and Florida's municipal governments share the time-honored role as the level of government closest to the people, and whereas this reliance places extraordinary responsibilities upon citizen legislators, which are your elected officials, who make significant sacrifices. I feel like I'm going in and out, I'm sorry. Who make significant sacrifices of their time and energies on behalf of their citizenry, making this commitment a true labor of love. And whereas municipal leaders strive for excellence in the governance of their city, town, or village, and commit themselves to providing quality services, governing effectively, and working to improve the quality of life. And whereas several terms in office are a high compliment voters give to an elected official, and with these years of experience comes a strengthening of wisdom, discernment, and strong leadership skills that bring tremendous values to the municipal governments of Florida. And whereas Bill Partington has held office in the city of Ormond Beach for 20 years and is recognized for this achievement. So on behalf of the Florida League of Cities, I want to say thank you for your municipal service and congratulations on 20 years.
Congratulations, Bill.
All right, I can't let that go by without making just a few short remarks. First of all, thank you all for being here this evening. I'm deeply honored to receive the Florida League of Cities John Land Years of Service Award. This recognition is not just a testament to my years in office, but really is a testament to the community we have built together, working together here in Ormond Beach. First and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to the Florida League of Cities. Thank you for being here for this prestigious award. John Land's legacy of over 60 years of dedicated public service is an inspiration, and to be associated with his name is a privilege I do not take lightly. Having served as the Zone 4 Commissioner, Deputy Mayor, and Mayor of Ormond Beach over the last 2 decades has been one of the greatest honors of my life. Over the years, I've had the privilege to work alongside a dedicated team of city employees, council members, and countless community volunteers who share a common goal: to make Ormond Beach a better place for all its residents. This award is a reflection of our collective efforts. It's about the progress we've made together, enhancing our city's infrastructure, supporting our local businesses, preserving our natural beauty, and fostering a sense of community that is both welcoming and inclusive. I want to take a moment to thank my family for their unwavering support. You saw Lori, my lovely wife of 31 years tomorrow, and my favorite middle daughter, Anne. CJ, my favorite oldest daughter, and Faith, my favorite youngest daughter, couldn't be here tonight. But and then my mom and dad are in the audience as well, Bill and Donna Partington. My sister Dawn and brother-in-law Dyson. And my Aunt Debbie as well. Public service is demanding, and my family's patience and encouragement have been invaluable through this time. To my colleagues, current and past, and staff through the decades to now, your hard work and dedication are the backbone of all our success. Nobody can do any of this alone. And to the citizens of Ormond Beach who have returned me to office in 10 elections over the last 2 decades, thank you for your trust and confidence. Your engagement and passion for our community drive me to continue to work hard every single day. Thank you once again for this incredible honor. It's with deep gratitude and a renewed sense of purpose to continue serving, albeit hopefully in a new capacity, that I accept this recognition. Here's to many more years of service and success for Ormond Beach. Thank you very much. We are at audience remarks, and tonight we start with Nanette McKeel Petrella. There she is.
Mayor Partington, City Commissioners, managers, and attorney. My name is Nanette McKeel Petrella. I reside in Daytona Beach and am president of Daytona Dog Beach, Inc. I'm here in support of the Dog Beach pilot program. Our organization, formed in response to a grassroots demand for dog-friendly beach options in our area, is supported by residents, tourists, and businesses. We have 3,039 members. Our initial petition for a dog-friendly beach, presented to Volusia County Council in July 2023, received 2,290 signatures. I am here also representing our volunteer group, Paw Ambassadors, 80% of them from Ormond and Daytona Beach. Through the month of April, they volunteered between 30 to 50 hours per week on the dog beach and removed 1,218 pounds of trash left behind by people and washed onto the beach by the tides. The volunteers report overall excellent adherence to the rules within the dog beach area. The messages we receive while on the beach and on our social media platforms are positive and heartwarming. The dog beach has created a safe, environmentally sound, courteous, and legal option for people to get out with their dogs, to walk, splash in the water, engage with others, sit and enjoy the sights and sounds of the ocean, something they would not do without their dog. The pilot has brought about a community of people who are absolutely grateful and supportive of the pilot. We find a petition launched to end the Dog Beach pilot misfocused, inaccurate, misleading, uninformed, and self-serving to a small minority. It is easy to complain and criticize. Ending the Dog Beach pilot will not end the grievance expressed by the petition. On May 1st, 2024, we launched a petition for continuation of the Dog Beach pilot to see if the community supported the pilot. They do. Our petition has received 1,772 signatures. Over 450 of them, 25% of them, are which from Ormond Beach residents, and over 1,100 or 60% of the signatures from Volusia County. Over 75 people provided context as to why they support the continuation, and 30% of those were from Ormond Beach residents. Our organization, volunteers, sponsors, and supporters, many Ormond residents ask for your continued support of the pilot program. Together, we can work towards positive outcomes that enhance the lives of all who wish to enjoy our public beach. Thank you, and I'm always welcome for any questions you may have of me. Thank you.
Paula Reynolds.
Good evening and congratulations, Mayor, and good evening to the esteemed members of the Commission. I am a brand new resident of Ormond Beach. I moved here February 5th. I had other opportunities because anybody who knows me and knows where I came from, my only criteria for moving back to Florida, I lived in Winter Haven and Lakeland back in the early 80s when the dinosaurs were still walking the earth, and I graduated from college and got a job down here. And unfortunately, I couldn't stay, but I always wanted to come back. My friends will tell you my only criteria was to find a place where I could go, enjoy the beach, and bring my dog. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but it's the truth. It took me a long time to get here, and the past 4 years have not been easy, but that's beside the point. My main point coming here was I went to many of the dog beaches down the coast, all the way as far as Port St. Lucie. And what sold me here was, and I am so happy that I was here this evening, it's like kismet that I was here for this particular meeting because this is why I'm here. In my past life, I did a lot with local enforcement as far as government was concerned, and never have I gone this far in a meeting without having some kind of a confrontation. This is the embodiment of what I found when I moved here to Ormond Beach. And it's what I found when I went to Dog Beach to check it out, because I didn't know that that pilot program was happening when I moved here or thought about moving here. And people smiled and people were happy and they shared everything that they talk about. And since I have been a volunteer, I met Nanette right after I came here, brought my dog to the beach, and we talked about it, and I wanted to be a part of it because my children and grandchildren are back up north, and after my husband passed, my dog and cat and I, well, that was kind of it, because you know what happens when children get older and grandchildren get older. They're off in all kinds of different directions. So what I would say is, before anybody makes a decision on this, be transparent. Come to the beach. Get in touch with me. I would love to have you walk the beach with me, but not on any specific day. Just decide you want to come, because we all know if mom's having a party, she wants that house cleaned before everybody gets there. And when the kids better be acting right. So don't come just once. Come a couple of times, a couple of different days. Experience it for yourself. Make your own decision. It's the best decision I ever made. Thank you, Ormond Beach.
Randy Fernandez.
Mayor, Commissioners, thanks for having me. I'm Randy Fernandez. I own Naughty Pets, which is over in Granada Plaza. It's a dog grooming store and good food. But I'm going to digress for a minute, Mr. Mayor. When I got the agenda tonight, I noticed on there the John Land years of service. I retired from Apopka after 30 years and worked with John Land for 25. tremendous, tremendous person. He had big shoes to fill. He was such a good friend, he even came to my wedding with my wife here, so that's an awesome award that you got. So I've worked with Nanette the last few years in order to get the dog beach going. I've got more than 2,000 clients that come into my store. It's anecdotal, but the vast majority of them are very supportive of the dog beach. And of course, everybody knows Granada Plaza. There's a lot of tourists that come in and out. When I talk to the tourists about what we have here, this jewel that we have here in Ormond, they're all very happy about it because a lot of them come down here and stay at Airbnbs with their dogs. They stay at a lot of our dog-friendly hotels. And when they find out that they can be here and not have to go to Flagler or Ponce Inlet, it's a tremendous asset. So, you know, one of the things that I've heard, don't know if it's true, that maybe there's some pressure on the commission to talk to the county to end the pilot program. The whole idea of a pilot program is to have a pilot program. Let it run. Let's have a good debate afterwards to see where we are. But you know, you still speed on I-4. That doesn't mean we close the road down. Sometimes you're going to find people who don't do what they're supposed to do, but the vast majority of the people that are out there on the dog beach are good dog owners that like this community. They like to be with their dogs. They like to spend their money here. They like to live here. And don't forget, Ormond is a great community, and I lived in Apopka for more than 50 years, grew up there. This is home. This is just what I remember and what I grew up with. So God bless you all, because I know you have a hard job, and I know it's tough to be a commissioner, so do the best you can and take care of the citizens.
Thank you. Deb Coursey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Deb Coursey. I live in Daytona Beach now, but I lived in Ormond for several years before that. I have been a volunteer for the dog beach since the beach opened in November. I take my dog to the beach every single morning. I was able to rearrange my work schedule so that we could do that volunteer service because it's an opportunity to be involved and to give back. What I've gotten from that is so much more. It's meeting people all over the county who come to the beach, some of them also every day, same people, same dogs every day. Meeting people from all over who come to Ormond and are thrilled to know that not only can their dogs stay with them at that hotel on the beach, they can bring their dogs. They come running down. Is it okay to bring my dog? Yes. Yes, you can bring your dog. And they run back to their rooms. These people tell you that they're going to come stay here because they can do that. We're building a community here that encourages people to talk to each other, to get out, get exercise, be healthy, spend time with their animals. I would echo what our friend just said, that the pilot program, they promised us 18 months. We're 6.5 months in. We think it's going well. We would simply ask for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Deidre Zerfus.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners and managers and law enforcement. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to share my thoughts on the Daytona Dog Beach friendly and the dog friendly area here in Ormond Beach. These last 6 months have brought me so much joy being able to take my dog to the beach for walks that benefit both me and my dog. I have an 11-year-old Boston Terrier who has no eyes, completely blind. He can't see the sunrise. He can't see the beautiful shore birds, but he loves rambling on the beach and hearing all the different scents, hearing the waves crash, feeling the wind in his fur and the surf and sand under his paws. And myself, as a 3-time cancer survivor, it's important for me to exercise in order to stay healthy. And walking with my dog Radar, on the beach has been a really great incentive for me to get moving and has contributed to my 60-pound weight loss in the last year. So I know there are many, many seniors like me who need to be healthy. I know there are a lot of people who maybe wouldn't get out and exercise. They do it for their dogs. And so I think the incentive of being able to be in the beach atmosphere, the salty air, we know that improves health. And so I think it's a great benefit both for people and dogs. I was thrilled to become a paw ambassador, and I've been so blessed to get to know Nanette and the other passionate people associated with the Daytona Dog Beach. I'm really grateful to be part of this organization and thankful to live and play in a community like Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach. I personally have volunteered at least once a week for the Dog Beach since December, and personally, I have seen no dog mess left by any, irresponsible owners, and I have only seen 2 or 3 dogs off leash, and when I've seen them and once I've educated them about the rules, they happily comply, and it's not a problem. I really hope and pray that you all will support this project through its completion, and that the dog-friendly beach may expand to other areas so that more people can enjoy the benefits. So please let this project continue, and may it bring as much joy and health benefits to others that it has brought me in Radar. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Lohman. Absolutely.
This way. Hi, Nancy Lohman, 1210 John Anderson. Good evening and congratulations, Mayor Partington, on your award and all those awards tonight. Those were lovely. I'm speaking on behalf of the dog-friendly beach area as well, and the reason all of us have come to you is we know it's not your decision, but we know that the county respects how you feel about the dog-friendly beach because it's a part of Volusia County and Ormond Beach from all of our perspectives as residents in Ormond Beach. So many people have shared the same thoughts tonight, but I was collecting a little sand for my niece's daughter, and I was on the Neptune Beach approach, and this was, just a week ago, and there were a couple people there with their dogs, and it didn't really resonate with me until I had another conversation over this weekend, but there's nothing I can do about those people having their dogs in an illegal area and doing something illegal. I can't control that. We all may not be able to control every dog that's not in the appropriate place. But thank you for supporting the idea that the county has given all of us who want to fly right a little tiny sliver of paradise where we can be with our dogs on the beach. And when I think about the 47 miles of beach we have, and that we are lucky enough in Ormond Beach to have 0.6 miles of our beach be dog friendly, I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the support that you've given the county. I hope that continues. And I hope to see that the county expands the dog friendly beach to other areas. I get these wonderful random texts and emails about the dog friendly beach. And this one was particularly special to me. And it was from a young lady who said, and really it should have gone to Nanette, she's done much more than I have, but she said, "Thank you so much for making the dog beach happen. It's been a life changer. To start my day with my dog at sunrise and sometimes end with sunsets, I feel so blessed, forever grateful. Makes me fall in love with Ormond Beach all over again." Isn't that beautiful? That is why we're hoping that you continue to support the county in their decision to give us a dog-friendly beach area, and I hope it continues forever. Thank you.
Thank you. David Schechter. Sure. Commissioner, before you start, you haven't aged a day.
You're very kind.
Good
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much, Mayor, and congratulations as well to you on that award this evening. My name is David Schechter. I own a home at 395 North Atlantic Avenue here in Ormond Beach. I've not been in this chamber in 26 years, literally since 1998, after having served for 4 years on this council. Please know I have tremendous respect for all of you, the work you're doing, and one of the reasons I bought a home here in 2020 was to retire here one day, because this is still home to me, and you guys have kept it amazing all these years, and my heart goes out to all of you who are doing this kind of public service. My heart also goes out to those who have spoke previously about the pilot zone, and I appreciate their stories. I also appreciate Ms. Lohman's support. Went to school with her son, Brian, and know very well that they have been fantastic stewards in this community. But we do have a problem, and I want to share that with you. The pictures I've shared are all dogs outside of the zone. So we have really two issues at hand. And Ms. Lohman just mentioned the Neptune approach. Well, they're everywhere. And to Nanette's point, and Nanette, we haven't met, but I'm happy to talk to you later tonight, ending the Dog Beach pilot will end the grievance. That is the grievance. So there isn't something else going on here, and I would really appreciate it if folks would stop saying, you know, folks want a private beach. We don't want what's north of Granada that they were given years ago. We just want our beach back. We just want the beach the way it's been, and the county seems to be every day doing something to change that. And I would also ask that, you know, Troy Kent and others not judge or disparage the motives of anyone that has signed our petition, 300-plus folks, or what we're all about. I've never even met Troy Kent. I wouldn't know him if I ran into him. So I think it's important for people to understand that there's really good-hearted people on both sides of this issue, and that what we're trying to do is solve two problems. We have two asks tonight. Number one, to please, if you could, as a city commission, write the county that you are ending participation in the pilot on the Dogs on the Program Beach. It is an awful deal, and I've put forward a sunshine law request for more data on this because we know the data that's being collected is not appropriate. Secondly, the county needs to begin enforcing its own rules about dogs on the beach, which is in Section 20 of the code. They haven't been doing that, as was just attested to by Ms. Lohman. So we've got plenty of facts and data. We ask you to very much question the county data that you have been seeing. It's fraught with all kinds of problems. They're not even covering the beach sunrise to sunset. They're covering it 42% of the time with someone who sits in a truck for 40 hours a week. There's 94 hours of sunlight. They're covering 40. So if they want data, we've got plenty of data. The pilot program is also running out of money. They've spent $75,000 of the $108,000 that have been collected. They don't even have enough to finish this pilot. So it's not staffed appropriate, not manned, and I will stay around as well till the end tonight. Hopefully there's a discussion. I'm happy to answer any questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Leslie.
First, I'd like to congratulate you, Bill, for your 20 years.
Thank you.
Good evening, Ormond Beach Mayor and Commissioners and staff. My name is Jason Leslie at 3 Arbor Lake Park, Ormond Beach. I wanted to share with you this evening some positive things that happened this past weekend. I planned an event that was this past Saturday, and one of the things discussed during planning was to give back to the community. Part of that problem was because we were going to have food left over, and that's, you know, sometimes problematic when you have an event that includes serving people food. So I went and I did some research, and I found a homeless shelter, and I contacted them that was willing to take the food, and I coordinated with the staff there to make this thing happen the day of. I went ahead and asked everybody that attended to bring a non-perishable item as well, because I figured, you know what, let's try to do a little bit more for the shelter. I collected approximately 250 pounds of food, just in non-perishables. I had another 60 pounds of food cooked that day that we actually put aside just for that, because I wanted to make sure that they had some food too, the homeless people. The people of this community are awesome. Everyone came out. It was a really great event, and the people in the shelter were really thankful of it. I had a resident meet me at the back door when dropping off the food, This resident went by the name of James and helps in the kitchen. He was very excited to see the prepared food was a southern seafood boil. This was a real treat according to James, that says a meal like this doesn't come through the door every day. This meal was served that night for dinner. James did share with me about this program and how it saved his life. He has been off drugs for almost 2 months, and he was just hired to work for Publix that Monday. When I learned that the city of Ormond Beach participates in this program, I looked into what capacity the city is involved. The one thing that did worry me is the board hasn't had our city representative at a meeting once this year according to the minutes that we were given. I was a little embarrassed when I learned that. I hope that could be straightened out. I hate to see people like James, who is trying to better his life, not receive or get all the resources available to continue on the right track of living a better life. And hopefully with the participation at Ormond Beach, he can get there. Thanks again. Everyone have a good night.
Mark Sharifi.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you, City Commissioners, law enforcement, fire department, and all public servants, and everyone who's served in any public office. And David Schechter, thank you. You were one of my most inspiring teachers at Seabreeze High School. Taught us to think outside the box and to really question things in general, and also to check your sources, know your sources, and really learn what's going on, see the big picture. So I've applied that function in all things that I've done in my life, from going to college, starting at UF, University of Florida, going to the University of Cambridge overseas in a summer school program, and then taking a constitutional law class, realizing I didn't know what I wanted to study in college. So I joined the Marines and served like Travis Sergeant here for 5 years, and ended up coming back here to my hometown here in Ormond Beach. So thank you all very much. I'd like to speak on the dog beach, where I didn't grow up with dogs. I grew up with a little bit of fear of dogs, and eventually ended up loving dogs. So now that we've spent 2.5 years working hard on getting a small section of the dog beach. So County of Volusia has 47 miles, and 0.6 or 0.7, divided by 47 is 1.5%. So 1.5% of a shared resource is being used for a pilot program that allows for people to enjoy this shared resource with their pets. 98.5% of a shared resource is designated where you can do whatever you want within the law, and there's no dogs there. So, there's plenty of shared resource, for everyone else. What I wanted to, speak on is that responsible people will be responsible. Irresponsible people will be irresponsible. There's people that leave trash. You've heard of, the PAWS program, picking up so much trash, which is fantastic. And if people are violating, codes and ordinances, then you can call it in. They can, they'll come, they'll write them a ticket, citation, they'll just, they'll do that. As far as statistics go, this is straight from the County of Volusia. In 4 months, there was 6,223 dogs counted. 203 were off leash. 3% were not following the rules. When asked to put their dog on a leash, 100% compliance. 2 dogs made a mess without picking it up. When asked to clean it up, 100% compliance. So do 90% of the people wear their seatbelts? Do they drive the speed limit? So the definition of integrity is doing the right thing, especially when nobody's looking. It's up to us as individuals to do what's right. So if there's people that are not following the rules, they need to follow the rules or have, or be, spoken to or cited so they can be corrected politely. Also like to thank Nancy and Lowell Lohman for their generous donation in this pilot program. And the beauty of a democracy is we get together, we discuss our ideas. We don't always agree on them, but we come to some sort of agreement, and then we live together with those agreed upon ideas. So, this is a pilot program. We really enjoy it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Commission, the minutes from the City Commission meeting, regular City Commission meeting of May 7th, 2024 have been sent to you for review, also posted on the city's website. Any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and we'll show those passing unanimously. The following item is a community redevelopment item. The City Commission in Ormond Beach serves as the community redevelopment agency of the city, and must review these items and make a recommendation as the CRA. Therefore, at this time, we will recess the City Commission meeting and call the CRA meeting to order. As chairman of the CRA, I will open the public hearings and ask our secretary to read 7A, please.
Resolution number 2024-78, a resolution of the City Commission also acting as the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, accepting a proposal from Designing Local Ltd. To provide services for the creation of a downtown public art master plan, authorizing the execution of an agreement and payment therefore, rejecting all other proposals, and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2024-78, read by title only.
Thank you. I do not have any cards on this item or anyone. Well, let me ask, does anyone wish to speak on Community Redevelopment Agency item 7A?
Mr. Mayor, I move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and Commission, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and we'll show that passing unanimously. Who wants to talk?
Joyce.
Joyce, have at it.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, staff wishes to pull item 8J and 9C to come back at a future meeting.
Commission, any objection to that? 8J?
And 9C.
Thank you. I'll close the public hearings, reconvene the City Commission meeting, and we will move to the consent agenda. I just need a motion absent 8J.
So moved.
Second.
Does anyone wish to pull anything else? I should have asked that question first. Nope.
I just have a comment for Steve.
Perfect. Moved and seconded. Please call the vote.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes, and now would be the appropriate time for any commissioners who wish to comment on any consent agenda items, and Commissioner Sargent, you're recognized.
On consent C, I just was wondering if we have a dollar figure on what we will be reimbursed from the
Julia.
Insurance.
Don't leave yet. Sorry.
Or,
I'm sorry.
okay. On 8C, just curious if we know what we will be reimbursed from for insurance on this loss, or is that still up in the air?
Still up in the air.
Do we know what our deductible is on that?
I do not off the top of my head.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to comment? I just wanted to talk about 8A, which was related to the CRA item 7A, and congratulate you, Julia. Thank you for all your hard work on that. I got in the mail, it's been quite the mail week, but a beautiful coffee table-like book on the economic power of public art. It has data and insights on the size and scope of the public art industry and explains also how it drives community engagement and economic growth. Published by Coda Works. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but Julia, I want to give this to you if you'll share it with anybody who's interested, but I would like it back. And if you think it is helpful, I'd be happy to contact whoever sent it to us and ask for some additional copies. But it has pictures of public art in cities all across the country and the world, and it really is an incredible testament to how it can improve your city's public spaces. So I'll hand this to you. Well, sure. Did you want to say anything on 8A?
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, and we will now start public hearings. I'll open the public hearings and ask the clerk to read 9A.
Ordinance number 2024-05, an ordinance approving the final plat for the Ridge Haven subdivision, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2024-05, read by title only.
Thank you. I don't have any cards. Commission, any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this second reading item? If not, please call the vote.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 9B.
Ordinance number 2024-06, an ordinance amending section 2-17R-4, single-family cluster and townhouse zoning district, section 2-18R-5, multifamily medium-density zoning district, and section 2-19R-6, multifamily medium-high-density zoning district of Article 2, District Regulations of Chapter 2, District and General Regulations of the City of Ormond Beach Land Development Code by amending the rear yard setbacks and correcting the street side/corner and additional water body setbacks labels, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, providing for severability, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2024-06, read by title only.
Thank you. Again, I don't have any cards.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. And 9C was continued by unanimous consent. 9D.
Ordinance number 2024-08, an ordinance of the City of Ormond Beach relating to comprehensive planning, adopting a 2024 water supply work plan, adopting comprehensive plan amendments to the City of Ormond Beach comprehensive plan related to the water supply work plan, including the utilities element, conservation element, and capital improvements element, in accordance with Chapter 163, Part 2, and Chapter 373, Florida statutes, providing for transmitting copies of the notice and amendments to the state reviewing agencies, the Volusia Growth Management Commission, the County of Volusia, and any other local government of governmental agency requesting a copy, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2024-08, read by title only.
Thank you. And I will ask our planning director, Stephen Spraker, to speak on this item.
Good evening, Stephen Spraker, Planning Director. This is a comprehensive plan amendment related to the water supply work plan. It is a state mandated action. The goal of the water supply work plan is to coordinate with the St. Johns River Water Management District, their water supply plan. So what the plan does, it summarizes the current water supply, the current water treatment, the effluent disposal methods, and the projected demand over the next 10 years within the city's utility service area. The actual amendments are to the comprehensive plan, to the utilities, conservation, and capital improvements elements. The planning board did recommend approval with a 6-0 vote. Prior to the second reading, it would be transmitted to state agencies and abutting cities, and then come back to you probably about 2 or 3 months.
Great. Any questions for Stephen? Commission, I don't have any cards. Thank you, Stephen.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just have one comment.
Commissioner Thomas.
I just think that the timing is perfect since we're celebrating Public Works this week, and that this document is being updated, and we're working towards that zero discharge, the Senate Bill 64. So thank you for all the hard work.
Good deal. If there's nothing else, please call the vote.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 9E.
Ordinance number 2024-09, an ordinance approving and authorizing the renewal of an interlocal service boundary agreement and a planning and services delivery sub-agreement between the City of Ormond Beach and County of Volusia, Florida, regarding the North US 1 Joint Planning and Municipal Service Area, approving the renewal of itinerant vendor criteria, providing for recordation, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2024-09, read by title only.
Thank you, Susan. I don't have any cards. Stephen, did you need to put anything on the record on this one? Any questions for Stephen?
No.
9E.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 9F.
Ordinance number 2024-10, An ordinance approving the final plat for the Fountain View Phase 1B subdivision shown within Phase 1 of the Plantation Oaks planned residential development, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2024-10, read by title only.
Thank you, and I will ask Planning Director Stephen Spraker to speak on the next, I think, can you do a few of the, like 3 of them, I think, altogether?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Again, Stephen Spraker, Planning Director. This is a request for a final plat for Phase 1B. It's 137 lots on 63 acres. The final plat, the subdivision process goes through 3 steps: a zoning approval, a preliminary plat, and tonight is the final plat for 1B. The other 2 items are the preliminary plats for phases 1D and 1E. Those are the other items. This is the overall graphic of the Plantation Oaks Boulevard. Phase 1B is located along I-95, and D and E are located interior. Final plats are reviewed by the Site Plan Review Committee, the City Attorney's Office, City Surveyor. The Planning Board recommend approval 6-0 of this item, and also recommend approval of the other 2 preliminary plats. And the applicant is here if there are any questions.
Perfect. Any questions for Stephen or the applicant? I don't have any cards. Thank you, Stephen.
Move approval. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 9G.
Resolution number 2024-84, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, approving the preliminary plat for Fountain View Phase 1D, shown within Phase 1 of the Plantation Oaks planned residential development, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2024-84, read by title only.
Thank you. I don't have any cards.
Move approval. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or further discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 9H.
Resolution number 2024-85, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, approving the preliminary plat for Fountain View Phase 1E, shown within Phase 1 of the Plantation Oaks planned residential development, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2024-85, read by title only.
Thank you, Susan. And again, Commission, I have no cards.
Move approval. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Commissioner Tolland.
I just have a comment. So, you know, you look at these, we're going down section by section by section, and, you know, we voted on it before that this is all appropriate, but I just wanted to just point out something. I wasn't going to say anything, but I just have to. So when you look at the density, and I know it's all compliant and it fills all the boxes, but F and G both are about a ½ acre per house or per structure. When you get down to H, it is appropriate that it is near I-95, but it's on about a third acre. And you know, we're always talking about densities and all of that, and it's all, I'm just making note of it, that maybe for me in the future, if we could look at the whole picture of what's coming down the road, instead of approving each thing I mean, you have to approve each thing individually, but if you can look at the total picture, maybe there can be a little bit more discussion about density prior to this point. But the other comment I want to make is I do want to take note of that nice piece of property that abuts Old Dixie that has been preserved, that Parker has I sold it, I guess, to the county. And so I am appreciative of that. I'm one that would prefer higher, you know, bigger acreage with one house. And I notice this is more of a third acre, but I understand it's the plan. And if you want to speak to it, you can. It just kind of hit me this afternoon, and I apologize for.
No worries. Parker Minchenberg, 1729 Ridgewood Avenue. I design a lot of subdivisions. Plantation Oaks, because of about 150 acres of wetlands and upland buffers we preserve. There's about 150 acres of lakes. We have Plantation Oaks Boulevard. I think, Lori, what's important is the overall density of Plantation Oaks is under 2 units an acre. So when you look at these individual plats, if you looked at Fountain View 1A, the first plat I did, it has the big borrow pit. It has a couple big lakes that previously were designed as golf holes. So if you looked at that, which it's already built and there's houses being built there, that's probably 1 unit an acre. You know, so if you look at an individual phase, what you're looking at is construction sequencing. So it just so happens the one that you mentioned was 3rd acre. That didn't have a lot of lakes or a lot of open space. It was mainly just lots and roads. But I think what's important is Plantation Oaks is a very low density. It's on the bottom of what you guys call low density residential. So when you look at the densities, you do that at the zoning. But when you get to the platting stage, sometimes you'll have one that's 3 times as dense as another one, just because of where I draw the lines with the common area.
Right. And I understand that. I think it just kind of hit me. It's like, oh, and I know that we do the general units per acre, and you have created a beautiful place up there. It's just a lot, you know, but it's a lot everywhere we're going.
Up there, if you haven't been up there, and you know, last couple of years I do a lot of the design of this personally.
Right.
Like over 1,500 residential lots. So I'm all done with the design. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
Summer's coming.
Thank you for that explanation.
Right.
Appreciate
Deputy
it.
Mayor Briley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Commissioner Tallon, I share your concern with that. I remember, though, when we looked at this one, I think sometime back, and especially when we annexed this from the county, Plantation Oaks had vested development rights, I think granted them back in the, Parker, correct if I'm wrong, either 70s or 90s, somewhere in there, but in 2000s. But they've actually come in and reduced the density. They're not building out to the potential density, the number they were granted. Is that correct, Parker? Y'all could have done more than you're doing?
Yeah, it's actually back in 1985, I had occasion to look at the DRI book that I was involved in back then. So National Gardens owned a lot of property there, Ormond Lakes, Pine Run, and they had 2,000 acres between Tomoka State Park and the Bulow State Park. So back in '85, when we did the DRI for them, they donated 2,000 acres that connected Bulow State Park to Tomoka State Park. Now we have a 1,000-acre park. Then there was a section of the DRI that they ended up selling to the state at a pretty much reduced rate. It was a property kind of between Plantation Oaks and Old Dixie Highway. So those things gave up density, but it was over 5,000 units, and we ended up being like half that total.
Thank you. Yep. And I know, thank you, Parker, for all your work on this. It was a lot less than what you could have done in the county. The fact that it's now in the city and it's going to be hooked up to water, sewer, is so much better for the environment than it would have been to have all those septic tanks right there on the Tomoka River Basin.
Just to correct something on that, before we annexed into the city, back when I designed Halifax Plantation, you know, to the north, it started out with the first phase of that, again, back in the 80s. It had a packaged water plant and a packaged wastewater plant. Volusia County, when we got into phase 2, which is where Publix is in south, they became the utility provider, so they actually bought the treatment plant that was out at Breakaway Trails and moved it out there. It's still working. And then they put in wells and a water plant by the power line. So there was never a plan in Plantation Oaks to have septic tanks. The original zoning was R2, 2.5 acre lots, and if it would have been zoned as 2.5 acre lots, it would have. But when Ronnie and I came in and rezoned it in 2006, it was Volusia County Utilities, no septic tanks.
Perfect. Okay. And I was just going to say as well, you can sit down, Parker, thank
Okay,
you.
no worries.
I was out there the other night. My nephew is retiring from the Army. He'll bring his wife and daughter from Honolulu to Ormond Beach. They have a house either being built or they bought one in Fountain View, but I see things are selling out there, which is great. Things are moving along, and so appreciate all your work. I know you built less homes in that area than you wanted to, and I saw you leave a little grumbly from a meeting or two after you got beat down a little bit on the numbers, but you didn't have to do that, but you did because you care about the community, and so we appreciate that. This is just an administrative thing that we have to do anyway, so Commission, if there's no other comments or questions, please call the vote.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes, 9-I.
Resolution number 2024-86, a resolution authorizing the execution and issuance of a development order for a special exception regarding the Shell convenience store located at 1628 West Granada Boulevard to allow an electronic changeable copy sign for the retail prices of gasoline, establishing conditions and expiration date of approval, and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2024-86, read by title only.
Commission, I don't have any cards.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes, and we will close the public hearings and move to 10A.
Ordinance number 2024-07, an ordinance relating to pedestrian and vehicle safety within public roads and rights of way, amending Chapter 17 Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Spaces of the Code of Ordinances by amending Section 17-10 to add unsafe pedestrian use of right-of-ways, adopting findings of fact, providing for applicability, providing for definitions, establishing prohibited use of public road rights-of-way, providing for enforcement and penalties, providing for additional remedies, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2024-07, read by title only.
Thank you. Commission, I don't have any cards.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions for the city attorney? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes. 11A.
Resolution number 2024-87, a resolution pursuant to Section 8-4(8) liens of the City of Ormond Beach Code of Ordinances, authorizing the imposition of a lien against the real property located at 253 Greenwood Avenue, Ormond Beach County, Volusia County, Florida, parcel ID number 4240-03-03-0090, upon costs incurred by the city to demolish an unsafe structure and setting forth an effective date. This is resolution number 2024-87, read by title only.
Thank you. I don't have any cards. Planning Director, unless there's anything you need to put on the record, it was all pretty well covered in the report.
I do have a question.
All right. Let's get a motion in a second, then we'll do it.
Move approval. Second.
All right. And Commissioner Sargent for a question.
Thank you. How does this lien work? When is it going to be repaid? I'm just kind of curious on that. 'Cause I have a
So once we demolish it, they'll have 15 days, or demolish the slab, they'll have 15 days to pay the lien. If they don't pay it, it'll be recorded on the property, and then when the property sells, they'll get the money back plus interest.
Now, can we put a stipulation where they can't get permits or anything? In case they wanted to rebuild, they would be able to pull permits, rebuild, and then it could be 20, 50 years till they sell that property to satisfy that lien. Could we potentially put something where they couldn't get a permit pulled at all until that's satisfied? Just thinking so we can get the city can recoup their money.
That was very creative.
The answer is I don't know the answer to the question. I think ordinarily our experience in the past has been if you go through this process because you have an irresponsible property owner and they're not going to pay anything, which is why we go through this exercise. If they're not going to do that, then they're not going to pay the money to pull a permit to build something on it. And I'm thinking through as I'm talking about this, And they would ordinarily probably require a loan from a lender to do that. The lender's not going to loan the money if there's a lien on the property. It's going to have to be resolved in that manner. The liens, once they're recorded, it's noticed to the public at large. It accrues interest at the annual rate, and over a period of time, the interest actually can exceed the amount of the actual cost for the demolition. And a vast majority of all of the liens that we recover monies on, not just from demolition matters such as this, but just general code enforcement, is as a result typically when the property turns hands. And then the lender, or when the seller and the buyer do the title search, the lien will show. They'll contact the finance department. They'll determine how much is owed plus interest, and that's how we generally get paid. But ordinarily, I understand your concern, but I don't think it's anything that we need to be too concerned with, because the party that owns the property now, they're not going to pull a permit. So,
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Randy and Stephen. And if there's nothing else, please call the vote.
Commissioner Briley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tolland?
Yes.
Commissioner Sargent?
Yes.
Mayor Partington?
Yes, and we are at reports, suggestions, and requests. And tonight we start with City Manager Joyce Shanahan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things tonight. As you know, staff has been working hard to draft the capital improvement budget. We've had individual workshops with each of you so far. I got, I think, one left. So on June 4th, there's a workshop to review the capital improvement draft budget. And so that'll be at 5:30 in the training room like we normally do. On June 5th through the 15th, the commission has their break, which we are very grateful for because it gives us the opportunity to prepare the operating budget. And so please mark your calendars for July 16th, which is a workshop only for the operating budget. July 16th. And we can send you a calendar invite if you're so inclined. On July 23rd, the commission resumes its regular meeting schedule. We are tentatively thinking of a workshop in August, possibly the 6th or the 20th, to discuss our Yellowstone landscaping contract and possibly your request to review the NID process and improvements or enhancements there. So do you all have a preference for the 6th or the 20th?
I'm good for either.
Those are both commission dates as it is right now.
So we'll just kind of leave that float a little bit. I don't know if we'll do both of those in one workshop or not, but
Okay.
We'll come back to you. I just wanted you to reserve that on your calendar.
That's fine. And Joyce, I don't know how the rest of the commission feels. All the calendar invites you can send me, the better.
Okay,
for every
perfect.
single possible thing.
I appreciate it.
Got it.
Thank you.
We'll take care of that. I want to give you an update on the PAC. All of our performance groups have relocated their props and costumes. All storage units have been picked up and removed from the PAC parking lot. The Children's Musical Theater continues to use the second floor for rehearsals, and the construction contract was awarded on tonight's agenda. We'll have a more accurate construction timeline once the materials are ordered and work commences. A big shout out to Chief Godfrey, Corporal Summerlot, and Officer Medina for completing the Police Unity Tour ride. We're so very proud of you. But we're equally proud of Lieutenant Boisner and Sergeant Braun for being part of the PUT support team. So those support officers are very important to keep the roadways safe while they're traveling. And I'm so glad that we had the support of both Commissioner Sargent and Persis up in DC to welcome them home and tell them how proud we are of their ride and raising money for those in the fallen. Leisure services, just a reminder, Memorial Day will be next Monday, a week from now. That's always at the Casements. I think it's at 9 a.m. The 27th, Rockefeller Gardens. As you know, get there early because there's lots of people that turn out. We will have parking set aside for the commission. And the father-daughter dance is always a popular thing that happens at the Casements for those daughters that have young children or even grown daughters. That's on Saturday, June 15th from 5 to 7, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the city manager? Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you so
Assistant
much.
City Manager Claire Whitley. Thank you, Claire. And City Attorney Randy Hayes.
Good night. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And tonight we start with Deputy Mayor Briley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I guess since we last got together a couple weeks ago, we've had quite a bit of things happening. First, it was great to hear from our workshop we had last Tuesday regarding the updates we got from Advent Health and the news they have. They're going to pour another $220 million in the facility out on Williamson Boulevard for our community. I think that's definitely a step in the right direction, given the growth we've had, especially to our south, and as taxed as our hospital system and healthcare system is here locally. I think that's good news, and as well as just to get able to kick around some ideas of the 56 North Beach Street lot and kind of get some ideas there, as well as the property across the street, maybe interconnecting that swath of land from about the yacht club all the way down to the bridge. I think we had some pretty healthy discussion there. Last Thursday, I attended the Pace Center for Girls Breakfast, and Mr. Mayor, just great, great stories we hear from those girls who are at-risk youth, and the great work that program does to get those girls on the right track, and the success stories they've had was just phenomenal. Saturday, we spent the evening at the Michelin Group. I wish Eva was still here, but the Michelin Group 35th anniversary celebration. They do so much. The Connors family does so much for this community, and I think they've really enjoyed their time in Ormond Beach with the Michelin Group, and will continue to do so. Taste of Ormond was set Sunday for Ormond Main Street. Always a highlight of their year. I think it's their biggest fundraiser of the year, and a great event it was. On yesterday, the mayor and I attended Ormond Beach Elementary School to celebrate the Kiwanis Reads, and I'll let the mayor speak a little bit more about that if you'd like to. It was amazing to hear of those kids that were in the auditorium yesterday. Last year, they read 750,000 minutes during the summer, and they've been challenged this year to read 1 million minutes over the summer break, and they'll have some sort of ice cream reception, I guess, next year if they can reach that goal. So it's just a great program that Kiwanis does, and we're very proud of those students. And tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, we'll have a Board of Realtors breakfast where Chief Godfrey will be there along with Captain Roos, and Captain Smith will present a check for the Bacasa family. Just to update you on that, we did get a few more contributions or donations for the Bacasa family after our fundraiser, and we're up around $5,700. So we're very pleased with that. And lastly, Mr. Mayor, I'll end the evening with congratulating you on the Mayor John Land Award. That is phenomenal, and Mayor Land was obviously a very long-serving mayor, and you're pretty close. So congratulations, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And Commissioner Tolland.
I don't think you're going to make 60 years, though. That might be a little much. Anyway, thank you. So I first wanted to congratulate Tony Slick being honored tonight for her contributions to the community, particularly in the arts. Her non-objective abstract art invites us as a viewer to really experience a sense of wonder through her color and shape. Tony is the real deal, and we're really blessed to have such an exceptional person, artist, living in Ormond Beach. Chief Godfrey, Corporal Summerlot, Officer Medina, congratulations on a successful ride honoring our fallen officers. I wish I could have been there to celebrate you, but family and Mother's Day was calling. I also want to applaud city staff, particularly Mr. Hayes and our outside counsel, Mr. Shepard, for the good work finding resolution with Flagler County regarding the Hunter's Ridge 40-grade dispute. A lot of good work, and it was a good night. And I also want to congratulate Michelle Connors and S.R. Perrott for 35 years of a successful modeling agency in Ormond. Just another successful business adventure of a remarkable woman and family. And last but not least, congratulate you, Bill, with your Florida League of Cities Award of Service. That is something that you should be proud of, and we're proud of you for your service to our community. I want to thank Advent Hospital and David Weiss for the update, growing Advent Hospital to help us address some of the medical needs in our community. I did have the opportunity to be in the ER, actually, I think it was last week, with my daughter with a kidney stone, and we were one of those lucky ones that did receive a bed on the side wall. But it was by a window, so it was a beautiful little cubby, but the need is definitely there. I appreciate FDOT's updates and the funds being spent supporting our transportation needs at the I-95 interchange. And I want to thank staff for their active discussion regarding the Riverbend Golf Course and the chamber updates related to technology. Just briefly, I attended the Taste of Ormond, sponsored by Main Street. It's always a fun event. A lot of good volunteers work hard to make that a fun event. I did attend a town hall last night hosted by Troy Kent. He continues his policy on open dialogue with constituents, and it was very well received. The Pace Center breakfast was very heartwarming. And then just two thoughts, the sidewalks on John Anderson. Dr. Lentz has come before us a few times expressing his desire for city to address the sidewalk needs on John Anderson in the name of safety. He discussed again with me recently. The issue has a history, and it was last addressed about 10 years ago, and it was fairly thorough addressing. It had proponents, and it had opposition, and everybody had some valid concerns. The city had a sidewalk master plan in the late 1990s, which included John Anderson. And a lot of times we do these great master plans and they kind of go up on a shelf. I believe that it would be reasonable for us to just query the residents that now live on John Anderson presently and maybe re-examine the obstacles as well as that need again, at least for a better understanding. I certainly would not want to task staff with a huge workload. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of money on it, but I do think that possibly it should be in discussion and just see where we are at with that. So that is my thought, and with that, I'm going to say goodnight.
Thank you, Commissioner and Commissioner Sargent.
Wow, thank you. First, I'll start off by saying congratulations, Mr. Mayor. As everyone said, quite an award, and thank you for the service to the city. I know I and the citizens greatly appreciate what you've done. Since Commissioner Persis is not here tonight, I figured I would take her time with my comments, so stand by. With the dog pilot program, this is a county pilot program, and I have spoken with Mr. Schechter, I have spoken with Mrs. Lowman, and I think I've seen the pictures, and I think it's how do you define if the pilot program is being successful. And when we look at the area of the designated pilot program, the 0.6 miles of the beach that is designated for dogs on the beach, with all these volunteers dedicating 30 to 50 hours per week, 1,218 pounds of trash removed. That's not dog feces, that's trash that's been left behind. And then I hear that Mr. Schechter has not spoken to Nanette. I hear Mark Sharifi say, think outside the box. One thing that comes to mind to me is unity. Maybe we all need to come together and figure out how to make the pilot program a success, it is successful if you look at it at the 0.6 miles of the beach that are designated for a dog pilot. The real problem that we're having, I believe, is that the part outside of the dog pilot program, the rules and regulations are not being enforced. So I think if we ask the county to do anything, I think it's to enforce the rules and regulations outside of this pilot program. I don't think we should, at this point, ask to end a pilot program that is if you look at it, it is successful within that 0.6 miles of the beach. I think we need to come together. I think we need to identify the problems which are outside the area and get those rectified. That's where I'm at on the dog beach. I don't want to talk baseball yet. Now I'd like to move on to the workshop we had with the Riverbend Golf Course property. I love the ideas. I love that we're conserving the area closest to Bear Creek. Down by the water, a lot of areas can be preserved, park, and then the rest of the area closest to the where the restaurant and clubhouse where it would be developed into airport. But before we move forward on that, I feel like we owe it to the residents to send this out to an RFP. I know I hear it, golf is a dying sport. I'm not a golfer. But I hear the residents say that we close this golf course for a runway extension, which I do not believe is the case. But I do think we owe it to our residents to send this out to an RFP to see if there's any companies out there that would be willing to overtake it as a golf course and make the investment that it would be required to bring it back to a golf course. And maybe there's not any companies out there that would be willing to undertake this. But I think we owe it to the residents to give them that opportunity to see if anyone is. And I reflect back to what we said on Casson Park and how it's taken forever to get Casson Park and the comments that were made. We only get one chance. We need to make sure we get it right. And I feel like that's what we need to do with the golf course, that we need to send it out for RFP. I know it's some work on staff, but I think that that's one thing that we should look at before we move forward with this property. I don't know if any other commissioners feel the same on that, but excuse me, that's where I am on that property. I'll move on to the sidewalks if no one wants to jump in on the Riverbend.
I'll jump in. So I think that's been something that we all heard. At least I know I heard when I was running as a candidate. The golf course, never had the opportunity to really look at it. You do have we've been told, that it's probably not the best use from the FAA, and there are some economic advantages to developing it. But I also believe that the residents probably do need to confirm that this would not be a viable option in the future if that's the way we want to proceed. I think that would be one way that we could share and show that we have looked at all the different possibilities. And, maybe we would be surprised. I don't know the legality of it. If you send an RFP out, what kind of parameters you put on it. I don't know how that would work because the city still owns it. It would be leasing.
Well, I think the fundamental thing you would have to do is talk to the FAA first to determine if they would be willing to lease it as a golf course. And I think we have already heard from Brian that they have indicated they're not. I think that's the first step. If they're not interested in leasing and allowing us to have a land lease on that property for a golf course, I don't think it would be prudent to try to use staff's time to develop an RFP. All of the infrastructure, the irrigation hasn't been functioning for years now. That's a lot of, it would be a heavy lift.
It would be a heavy lift. I think the whole idea, Commissioner Sargent can speak to it.
Well, I read the letter, and I feel like the letter it reminds me a lot of going to the overnight parking at the Casson Park, like the mayor said, when legal came to us and said there's these bumps in the road, if you will. I feel like that's the way that letter from the FAA reads. There's bumps in the roads, but I don't think it's a definite no. And I just think that we owe it to our residents to give that either a definite no. No one wants to respond. It's a dying sport, but I think that in order to move forward with this property, it is such a valuable piece of property that we just owe it to our residents.
Mr. Mayor, may I add one more thing?
Sure.
Randy reminds me that as part of our dispute with the Riverbend Golf Course, we had an appraisal done of that property. I think it was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago now, and To bring it back then was about $8 million, so.
I'm not saying that it's not a huge feat. I'm just saying that we owe it to the residents to send it out for an RFP to see if anyone wants to respond to it. I know it's overgrown. The sprinklers, I get it. There's a lot of things that would need to be done, but I just think that to send it out for a 45-day RFP, whatever it takes, we get the responses back. No one's wants to respond. No one wants to undertake that. Then we move forward with the master plan. We're not giving up any money. There's no delay in losing a grant or anything, but at least we can close that chapter on this property before we move forward. And then I'll move on to this.
Deputy Mayor Brown.
I wouldn't be objectionable to something like that. I mean, if there's somebody out there who wants to do it, I can't imagine there is with how much money it might cost, but I mean, one thing we don't have in Ormond Beach any longer is a public golf course. And, you know, I have heard several residents say, you know, Ormond Beach used to be known for its golf courses. People used to, you know, vacation Ormond Beach, and that was one of the things they came here to do, was to play golf. So, I mean, if we can come to some sort of resolution that either someone's interested in doing a golf course or someone's not interested in doing a golf course, I think that'd be fine. Thank you.
All right. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know if checking with the FAA first will take several months. That would be the first step. I think it's a total waste of time, staff time, and money. And it's because before you got here, I dealt with the airport, and it was $8 million to bring it back to a playable standard. And there were 2 or 3 groups that were very interested in doing something with it. And when we showed them the books and the appraisal and what would be required, they didn't walk away, they ran away as fast as they could. So I feel like it's already been done. But I think that's something maybe you should discuss during your planning session after the next election and see where you want to go with that. Nothing happens fast at the airport, so I don't think there's any rush on that particular issue. And it is a huge amount of staff time and work. I don't know that it makes sense to put that on them based on prior experience. I don't think things have changed enough in the golf industry that somebody could put 8 to 10, now maybe $12 million in there, and then make enough not only to pay the city the current lease rates, which I guess we're having a new appraisal done, but then also make a profit themselves. And that's the problem we had with the airport for years, is that instead of taking money that was made there and reinvesting it into the golf course that possibly could have helped it be viable, they took that money as profit and spent it on whatever and left it in horrible disrepair. And ultimately, with the decline in golf, it just wasn't able to survive. So those are the issues that I see with that moving forward, and you all are welcome to tackle that. Maybe there's less expensive inquiries or ways to look at that. Maybe you could send what you have as far as the old appraisal and what the new cost might be to some different golf companies and get a preliminary thought from them. But those were some pretty high-powered firms with people who had years and years and years of golf experience running golf courses. And like I said, they didn't walk away, they ran away. We never heard a peep from them again. So that's why I'm comfortable that that has already been taken care of, but you didn't know all that because you weren't here. So,
well, thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. The other thing is Dr. Lentz also has cornered me at a few of the events recently on the sidewalks on John Anderson, which I think Commissioner Tolland already addressed. Pineland Road, I know we discussed that earlier in my CIP meeting about staff driving that more regularly. I think it was monthly, to identify potholes and areas in the shoulders to be corrected on a monthly basis. So thank you for that, Joyce. Thank you to Police Chief Godfrey, Summerlot, Medina. Who am I leaving out? The other two? Gardner and Bosner. What a great event. I mean, riding in from Virginia to DC, just walking up, my family and I, and seeing our officers on the 2 motors, I mean, I don't know what's harder, Chief, to ride those motors in the stop and go at 800-pound bikes, or riding on a nice bicycle for a leisure ride. I don't know which is which is worse. But what a great event. My family and I were very pleased to be up there and able to support y'all. And thank you for riding for Bacasa and the other officers. Monday, Memorial Day. Let's not forget this is a federal holiday for honoring and mourning the U.S. military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. Enjoy your time with your family and friends, but remember that it's those that gave the ultimate sacrifice that we get to live in this wonderful country that we get to live in. And with that, I'll say goodnight.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commission, you've done a great job covering everything. I was just going to remind everybody about the I-95 at US 1 interchange public meeting tomorrow night. It's at the chapel, which is just north, I don't know, you call it north or west of 95 on US 1 up there. It's on the north side of US 1. And that'll be from 5:30 to 7. You can also attend by webinar, which is what I plan to do because I have another meeting that I have to be at. But if you need that information, you can call the city tomorrow and they'll hook you up with that. Thank you all, and with that, we are adjourned.